This is our project that we're working on here today. This is the digging bucket for a Yanmar VIO 35 mini excavator. This bucket is, the machine is early 2000s and this bucket's seen some wear. It's actually got a couple of holes. If you look down in there, it's actually got a couple of holes right in the bottom that have rusted through. So we're going to plate that probably from that teeth plate back around probably to those holes, but we have some reinforcing and wear bars to cut off the back of this. Those wear bars have there's hollow spots underneath them and that have dirt and concrete in them, and you can see the light through some of those holes there that have accumulated moisture and allowed that bucket plate to rust. So we're going to try to cut that out. Probably cut all these wear bars off first, and then cut the bucket of that bottom out. Probably put a reinforcing bar across the side to side in that bucket to keep it from warping. We'll try to cut the bottom plate out of that bucket and see if we can't get a piece of hard ox in there. I have a supplier here locally that'll probably have bend that plate for me, but at least we'll get a size and get the worn part cut out. This goes to a like I said, a Yanmar. I'll probably do a quick shot of that machine outside so you can see what that looks like. I am no fabrication expert or mechanic by any means. This is my weekend. I'm a weekend warrior, and this is what we do on the weekends. We've done a couple of, or one other mini excavator, and then another skid steer. So we have done some stuff here in the past, but just thought I'd show you guys what we do in the shop here. Alright. Machine that bucket belongs to, this is a VIO 35 Yanmar mini excavator. It's about an 8,000 pound machine. It's got a quick attach on that, a quick attach bucket coupler, and that's what that bucket goes to that we're going to be plating. We're going to be doing a lot of other things to this machine, but we're going to start with the bucket. There's a few other things I could show you inside that we're going to put on that, but just to give you some reference, this is what that machine looks like. This is another machine we have. We'll be probably doing a video on this all by itself, so we'll have probably multiple videos on this, but this is a Yanmar tracked dump truck. This is another thing we're going to add to this mini. This is a hydraulic thumb. This is a Soulsby. It's a pin mount with a hydraulic retraction. This is made by Soulsby in Winston, Georgia. Very, very high quality thumb. Very pleased with the construction of this. Came with shims, cylinder. It was measured up in size for the machine by my son. It fits, these teeth fit between the outside bucket teeth, so they mesh together properly and connect at the same point. But again, that's a Soulsby piece of equipment. Very nice, very nicely built. But we'll probably do a video on that by itself. But we're going to work on plating this bucket right now. Doing some cutting. Maybe we'll move those gas cans before we start. Okay, what I usually do when I start a project like this is to make a sketch, get the width of that bucket on the inside and on the outside, take some dimensions, so if we do start cutting stuff and it ends up out of whack, we'll know how to get it back to where it was. And again, I said I'll probably weld a rod on the back side of that bucket from top to bottom to keep that from spreading after we cut it, and keep things in the right orientation. So we'll get going on that in a second. One other thing I'll do with this bucket is to cut a cardboard template with the radius of that back plate on there. And as I said, I'll have the steel company cut that to width and bend the radius in that we need, but I'll use a cardboard template so they'll know exactly what the radius is. We've got our cardboard template cut, and that just matches the radius of that inside of that bucket. We've got to cut it a little bit longer. It goes a little bit past this tooth bar here, and probably a little bit past those holes. That's kind of where I want to cut it. But that radius is pretty good there. You can tell by these teeth that there's quite a bit of wear on this bucket, but I think we can bring it back. Everything else is pretty solid. These side plates are pretty solid. We're going to need some new side cutters. We're missing one. One's absolutely whipped. Probably throw some new teeth on it too. But I think that radius will match. And like I said, if we make that a little long, we'll maybe even be able to cut the hole based on the plate that we get from the steel guy. And that way we're ensured a good fit. Okay, we've got our customized piece of rebar in there, and we'll just tack that and keep our sides from spreading. We take that piece out. We'll flip that over and we'll do the top. The previous person that put these wear bars on here, they put wear bars on the edges as well, down through here. This is the original side plate. This is another wear bar on the top. It's just a lot of cutting to get down into that bottom plate. It's really stuff welded all over here. Kind of a mess. So we'll work on this. We'll bring you back when we get some of the stuff off of here. But I do have the bar across the inside of the bucket to stabilize that. Okay, we're in the process of cutting this bucket out here. Most of this I think I can do with a 7-inch cutoff wheel. I got a small torch that I can do the thicker pieces, and then a 4.5-inch grinder with a cutoff wheel. I think we can do most of that. The sides where it's real thick, we'll probably have to wash some of that off with a torch, but a lot of it's going to be cutting wheel. So just give you a quick, we're going to kind of go right across here with this thicker plate, joins onto the thin bucket. I'd like to just be able to cut all this off and not have to do these, mess with these wear bars at all. So it's a lot of this right here. The important thing with these grinders is just to stay out of the way of the rotation. If you're behind it, you don't want that blade aiming at you. Or I've had these come apart and stick in my sheetrock ceiling, so you got to be careful with these things. We've got this bottom part cut off right there. We're all the way through, all the way across there, and we're all the way across on the back too. We got her sliced all the way across there. Now for the hard part, sides. Got it. That took about an hour, 45 minutes, and a $4 grinding wheel. I probably could have used the acetylene to get that off there, but we just filled the tanks, my son did, and those little tanks right there were 90 bucks to fill, so I would have burned a lot more acetylene to get that off than that cutoff wheel cost me. So, all right, onward and upward. Now we're on to some torch work. Just got a little torch set here. What we're doing is trying to wash the edge of that, what's left from where they cut that. There's a half an inch or so of material, multiple layers, kind of hard to grind, take forever to grind. But with a torch, you can see the thickness of that. You can wash that right off there. There's a guy on the internet that I've watched quite a bit, IC Weld, I think his name is, out of Texas. The guy is really, really good with a torch, and he describes that as washing that right down to the side. And you can actually see where that original parent metal ends, that little crack through there. And you can stop right there. You can just get what you want, and it kind of washes right down inside of that bucket. You just scrape off the slag. But yeah, if you haven't seen torch work, go to that IC Weld. The guy is a master with in welding. Very good. I did get this torch cut off here. It went pretty well. I am by no means an expert with a torch, but I'm pretty proud of myself. I think it's okay. You can see that split line. There was like 3 different layers of weldment on top of that edge, and it was very tough to get through. But you could literally see the layers melting away layer by layer. There's a bunch of concrete in between them. Kind of a pain. But you could see right there. You could tell I got a little too deep in that side plate, but I think it'll be okay. We got our grinding done. I think we're ready for a plate. We're about 4 hours in, so that wasn't too bad. A little quicker than I thought. I was expecting to have more time into it. It came out pretty good. There's a couple low spots. We ground down all the high spots, so I think we can get another plate on there. We'll order our plate and kind of do our weld prep based on that, bevel the edges back and whatever we need to do. I checked with my steel supplier today. They're still about a week out for this piece. So what I'll do is I'll publish the first part of this video, and then I'll do a part 2 of completing this bucket plating. It was getting kind of long anyway, so it'll be one video, and then we'll do a part 2.